This is Michael Moore, and this is an emergency podcast system episode of Rumble. I need to take a few minutes right now to appeal to my friends across this country and across this world to please stand for Michigan. Please come to our aid. The level of COVID cases has, first it doubled, then it tripled, then it quadrupled. We have more COVID cases per day than any other place in the country. And this is in large part because, and I hate to say this because I voted for her for governor, but she has been scared by people who seek to do violence to her, who have bullied her. The business community, the Chamber of Commerce, who have insisted that she reopen everything. And this has brought a tragedy upon this state. And so I need everybody's help in pressuring first the governor of Michigan, Governor Gretchen Whitmer, a Democrat, to close things down. Do not listen to the business community. Yes, they are losing money. There are programs to help them with getting some of this money back. And what they can't get back, there should be other programs that the Biden administration establishes so that these businesses don't go bankrupt. They should not have to suffer during this time. But to make the rest of us suffer, 40% of the new cases now in Michigan are young people between the ages of 20 and 40. Teenagers are in ICU units. My friends, you've seen this on the news, I'm sure. I think you know what's happened with Michigan, but I need to tell you from what I know from firsthand knowledge of friends, neighbors, family, people that live in Michigan, that we need to act immediately. This is a surge that's out of control. Some doctors have told me they think at least 90% of these cases are not the old coronavirus, the COVID-19 that we've been suffering through for the past year. That the vast majority of these COVID cases in Michigan right now are from the UK variant, what's known as the UK variant, the mutation of COVID-19 that came from the UK, and is a virus that works in a much faster way. It is more aggressive, and it is sending more people to the hospital and could cause more deaths. The way to stop the UK variant, along with these other new variants, is to get as many people vaccinated as soon as possible. Now, a number of hospitals and doctors in Michigan are saying, we're running out of vaccines. We don't have enough vaccines. Others are saying that they have enough vaccines. Sadly, the CDC has decided, the Biden administration has decided not to give Michigan any more vaccines during this very sad turn of events. Now, I think that's wrong, and I think that we need to demand that the vaccine, the Pfizer vaccine that is made in Michigan, in Kalamazoo, Michigan, that we get as many of these vaccines into as many arms as possible. That is going to help put a stop to this UK variant. But if it gets ahead of the number of vaccinations that are taking place, there's some concern that we may not catch up. And believe me, there's no COVID border around the state of Michigan. This is happening elsewhere in the upper Midwest, and it will happen where you live. And if you don't live in the U.S., it will come to you just as it came from other places. There's no borders here. We all have to get behind this. So, number one, the CDC needs to send more of the vaccine to Michigan, and hospitals, doctors, clinics, every pharmacy, whatever it needs to happen, This needs to happen in the next few days, not next week, not next month. And the governor of Michigan has to shut the state down. People need to stay at home. The schools, which have closed and opened and closed and opened, driving students and parents crazy. Need to shut down just for a little bit, not long. This is not some long-term thing here. This is just right now, immediately, to try and bring an end to this rapid epidemic in Michigan of the UK variant. My friends, I'm sorry to have to bother you tonight, this morning, whenever you're hearing this, with this emergency podcast system episode. And I'm not going to go on any longer. I just need you to help me put pressure on the governor of Michigan. And she's a pro-business governor. She comes from a business family. Her dad was a business executive. I understand this. I understand this is where she comes from. When we wanted her to shut down the state back in March, the first week of March in 2020, she didn't want to do it. The Michigan Chamber of Commerce was bullying her. But by the next week, after New York and California and others were shutting down, she knew she had to do the right thing, and she did it. And this cost her a lot of death threats and everything else. So don't misunderstand me when I am pleading with her to do this. This is not a lack of support. This is my support for my fellow citizens in the state of Michigan. Shut things down. The hospital in the town where I live, they're packed. They can't take hardly anybody else in this hospital. They're having to stop doing certain procedures because they can't take care of the UK variant of the coronavirus that's coming in. They won't let visitors into the hospital now. You can't go and visit your loved ones. And this is in a small rural community, really. This shouldn't be happening. Shut down the restaurants, the bars, the businesses. People stay home just for a little bit. Stay home from school just for a little bit. We made a mistake in reopening the state of Michigan too soon. Stop this back and forth. Open, close. This isn't working. New Zealand, take a look at what they've done. They're an island. I understand that. Well, we live on a peninsula. We are completely surrounded by water except for a little bit of Ohio and Indiana. Don't give us too much problems too much of the time. But I'm serious, my friends. People, friends in Michigan, stay put, stay in. And the CDC, come on. You're dealing out the doses here based simply on a state's population, not whether who needs it the most. Both are wrong. CDC is wrong. The governor of Michigan is wrong. Let's get this fixed right now. Please call your congresspeople and your senators at their switchboard on Capitol Hill, 202-224-3121. Please contact the governor's office of the state of Michigan in Lansing, Michigan. And please go on the whitehouse.gov and send a note to President Biden and ask him to please increase the amount of doses to the state of Michigan this week, right now. Let's not let this thing grow. Thank you for listening to this. Thank you for doing what you can do to have your voice heard. It's critical right now. This doesn't need to happen. We're never going to get through this, my friends. I thought so many of us are now doubly vaccinated and we're wearing our masks, and there's a light at the end of the tunnel here for 2021. You don't want to hear that there isn't going to be a light, an end to this in 2021, do you? Do we have to go back to what we had on one of my first podcasts back in February? of 2020 about this virus. And the doctors and the scientists I brought on continually to tell you over and over, this is not a 1-year pandemic. This is probably a 3 to 4 year pandemic. Nobody wants to hear that. So because we didn't want to listen to it, this is what we're ending up with. We've been through 1 year of it. Now we got to go through another year of it. And now, what do you say about 2022? I mean, this has to end. Everybody get your shot. Everybody wear a mask. Everybody keep your social distance. Wash your hands. Be kind to each other. And politicians, the governor, please stop the opening and the closing and the opening and the closing. Let's just close it down just for a little bit. And the CDC, you've got to send us more vaccine. Thank you for listening. Thank you, everybody who's listening to this, for joining me in making your voice heard. There are hundreds of thousands of you who listen to this podcast at any given time. I am really begging you to do something with me tonight, tomorrow, for the state of Michigan. Thank you so much. This is Michael Moore, and this is an Emergency Podcast System episode of Rumble.